Hey guys, how's it going? This is Sergeant Merrill, and I'm really excited to bring to you my next episode of Psychological Operations. It has been a while since I've done one of these, and for those of you who have been with my channel long enough know this is really how I got my start. So it's really a pleasure getting back into this series. For those of you who don't know what it is, like I said, it's called Psychological Operations, or PsyOps for short, and this is all about overwhelming the enemy. And it's going to help you do that by breaking down gameplay into graphical overlays and teaching you enemy patterns that you can take advantage of. Today we're going to be digging in how to snipe on Hotel. Okay, now let me just go ahead and say that sniping has improved dramatically based off of the patch that they've done recently. So if you haven't toyed around with sniping since that patch, I highly recommend it. I've been having a blast with it, and let me go ahead and say that I am not a sniper at all. And that has really made this video exciting for me because I think I've come up with a class loadout and strategy that'll help just about anybody, no matter what your skill with sniping is. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, let me just go ahead and say that Hotel is one of my favorite new maps in Escalation. It's the whole my base versus your base mentality that I just really enjoy because it's very straightforward. You go right up the center to capture Bravo, you go to the left to flank, you go to the right to flank, and then it's just down to defending your base. It's very straightforward, and it doesn't take a whole lot of mental capacity to predict where people are going to go. But let's take a quick second to look at what I'm using as a sniper class. As you can already see, I'm using the PSG-1 with ACOG, and I use that for a couple different reasons. It's very obvious that the L96 is the most powerful sniper rifle in the game. You're going to get a lot of one-hit kills with that weapon. But the PSG-1 is capable of the same one-hit kills, and it's semi-automatic. The L96 is bolt action and is going to slow your rate of fire, and it's really going to stop you from getting those multi-kills that you can get with the PSG-1. Now you also may be asking why I'm using the ACOG, and the reason is because the ACOG offers you situational awareness that you simply cannot get with any other sight. When you're using other sights, they really put you in a tunnel vision. And I'm not good with that. And I think a lot of people struggle with that because it covers up your radar, and it really covers up your peripheral sights and stops you from seeing enemies that you would otherwise see if you're using this ACOG. Now onto what I'm using as my secondary weapon, I use the dual pythons. It's because these things are just ridiculous up close. You might as well be using a shotgun because it only takes 2 bullets to kill somebody with the python, and you can fire both at the same time. When you combine that with the fact that the hipfire accuracy for these weapons is actually very good, you have a weapon that's going to beat out most primary weapons up close. And if you look at this clip right here, there's actually very little that they could do in this situation. And that's what I love about these pistols. They give you the confidence to rush up close. And what's really interesting about these things is that there's no reason not to use the dual pistol. When you're using the single pistol version, you reload each bullet individually. Now that can be remedied with the speed reloader, which will allow you to reload every bullet at once. But as you'll see, with the dual pistols, you don't have that problem. It almost seems unfair in some ways. So when you add these two weapons together, you become effective at all ranges. And that's really rare for a lot of classes. But as far as perks, what really works for me, and I've experimented a lot with this type of class, but I go with Scavenger as my first perk, and that's just because I like to have that extra ammo, and I like to be reassured that I'm not going to run out of ammo and have to switch up my strategy when I'm forced to pick up another weapon. As my second tier perk, again, you can experiment with this between steady aim to reinforce your dual pistols or sleight of hand to make you effective with both weapons a little bit more. Personally, I prefer the sleight of hand. I just think it's more effective for both close and far ranges to make sure that you're able to put bullets down range just that much quicker. Now for your third tier perk, I would go with Marathon. And really that's just an addiction of mine. I really like to get to where I need to be that much quicker, and Marathon helps me do that. Now, it wouldn't be a bad idea to experiment with Ninja Pro so you can hear somebody possibly sneaking up behind you, or you can experiment with Hacker Pro so you can see other snipers that are possibly camping up in different areas when they're using their motion sensors and claymores. Now, I like to round this class out by using a motion sensor to tell when people are trying to flank me, and stun grenades and frag grenades for when people are hiding around corners or hugging behind something to where I couldn't shoot them. But now that we have the class loadout out of the way, let's go ahead and talk about map strategy. And let's get it out of the way. You are not a rusher. You will see those people that are good at sniping and rushing at the same time, but that's really not what the class is meant to do. Your priority should be defending the rear flag and keeping enemy snipers off of the other strong firing lanes. And the reason you do that is because snipers are the best counter to other snipers. Let assault classes fight the forces that are in transition, and your job is to hit them when they stop. Now that isn't to say that a good amount of your kills can't come from people on the move. It just means that from a team aspect, you need to keep an eye on the strong lines of sight because it's going to be your job to keep them clear. There are a couple good spots to do this, but the one with the most action is going to be right down here on the locker room balcony. This spot is great to keep Bravo clear, catch people off guard that are running blindly from their spawn, and it also gives you a great line of sight on that top window where people like to snipe. The problem with this spot, as you're about to see, is that it's really easy to get caught with your pants down. There are a couple different ways to be flanked or picked off, and while some of that can be remedied with a motion sensor, it's not really my favorite spot for sniping. The next spot I really like is over here on the left, and from here you can completely cut off one of the areas that people like to flank. You can also catch a lot of people running past it to Bravo and don't expect a sniper to have the time to zone in on them, and they are dead wrong. It also gives you a great line of sight on the shower room balcony, so if you hear a call out for an enemy that is there, it's very easy to turn and pick them off. It's also one of those spots that you can really settle into because there are very few weapons that can compete with the PSG-1 on this line of sight. So feel free to settle in and acquire a few kill streaks as people come back for their revenge kill. Now, my favorite spot on this map is going to be a little obvious, but it's how you defend this position that's really going to make the difference. The sniper windows on separate sides of the map are just known for those silly people who stand straight up and think they're invisible to the rest of the map. It's actually a very dangerous spot because it's one of the most obvious defensive positions, but if you use it correctly and play defense, you can become the bane of the enemy's existence. The way to do this is to first set up a motion sensor outside of the room to catch those people that are trying to flank behind you. It's a good idea to develop a sixth sense for these kind of things because for every person you kill from that sniper perch, another hair should raise on the back of your neck. Because like white on rice on a paper plate in a snowstorm, they're going to be all over your ass. Never stay visible in this window for too long either. Just like a sneak peek, look at the high traffic areas and then take a shot and then pull back to play a little defense. Once you get a few kills, people are going to try and get sneaky about capping the objective behind you and flanking you. So this is where those dual pythons come in handy. In these narrow hallways, there is little that can beat these weapons. Consider it a little pattern. Go to the top, get a kill. Come back downstairs, get a kill. Rinse, repeat. All while maintaining situational awareness over objectives and your surroundings. Do this, and you will allow your team the breathing room that the sniper role is meant to provide. Keep the enemy in transition, stop them from getting to power positions, defend your spawn, and sniping on hotel can be one of the most enjoyable experiences on the Escalation map pack. But for now, soldiers, what I want you to do is lock and load a 20-round magazine, turn your selector lever from safe to semi, and watch your lane. This is Sergeant Merrill, out here.